Hello and welcome. Hello and mittens. Hello and welcome to a new video. Today, I'm going to be just chatting very briefly about an approach to teaching, a philosophy of teaching, which is called Dogme ELT or Teaching Unplugged. Now, if you're aware, if you've done the CELTA course or a variety of other TEFL courses, you may have been introduced to the PPP model of teaching. I think I did a video many years ago about the PPP approach, but there's many other different approaches or methods of teaching English. There's like task-based learning and guided discovery and the silent method, Suggestipedia. All these are different approaches or thoughts or ideas, philosophies of teaching, and usually what comes across is what is the best approach for your learners. Now, many years ago, I did my MA thesis on Teaching Unplugged. I think it was back in 2011 or so 2 years after the publication of this book here, which is Teaching Unplugged. If you've not seen this book before, I would highly recommend it because it was a very interesting idea, philosophy, I keep saying, of teaching English, where it was based on 3 key tenets: conversation driven, materials light, and scaffolding emergent language. Now, conversation driven, why do we focus on that? Well, language is about interaction, communication, and making sure that the listener and what you're saying is comprehensible, and the vocabulary used is used adequately, effectively, naturally. And the best way you can learn a language is through interaction. And yes, when I was younger, I studied French, and it was mainly focused on grammar and verb conjugations and a variety of other things. However, did I really acquire French, or did I just acquire, an understanding, a formal understanding of the grammar? I would say the latter. However, the approach that I've taken when it comes down to Korean is actually interacting with individuals, Korean individuals, and learning how best to communicate effectively with a variety of individuals, where the listener and myself can, understand each other when we're communicating in Korean. And this has actually boosted my confidence in communicating. And when it comes down to your learners, and if they're acquiring English for whatever purpose, obviously they need to communicate, whether it's spoken, written. They need to be able to decode what they're reading, and also decode what they're listening to as well. And if you focus on a conversation-driven approach, one of the key tenets, then it makes it a lot easier and it's more natural for the student. That's my perspective or opinion. Now, materials light. How do we, how do you look at materials light element for Teaching Unplugged, Dogme ELT? Well, one thing I should say, Dogme ELT was really founded from the Dogme filmmaking movement, where they set out 10 key principles for filmmaking, where you couldn't use lighting, you couldn't use special effects and things had to be filmed naturally and everything else like that. And Scott Thornbury principally took those ideas and applied it into English teaching. So that's where the Dogme ELT movement came from. Now, Teaching Unplugged is basically coming together with all these key principles and applying it into teaching. So you're unplugging, you're taking out all the fluff and everything else like that. So materials light is you don't rely heavily on the course book. You don't hand out multiple worksheets. You don't bring in lots of prepared material into the classroom. And so the reliance is in what the students bring into the classroom themselves and what you also bring to the classroom. And it does help guide that conversation-driven approach. And the way I've done it in the past is when I enter the classroom, I sit down 5 minutes, having a chat to the students and just waiting for them to, consider what they want to bring, what they want to say, what they want to, give to the lesson. And it just takes time for the students to find confidence in communicating. And so don't rely too heavily on materials and don't replace the teaching with materials. So try and approach it in that sense. Now, the final tenet was scaffolding emergent language. And, if you have a student saying, for example, I like to go running in the evenings in my free time, that's fine, it's perfectly acceptable grammatically, but can we improve it? Can we develop it so the student learns how to say it more naturally or, more advanced? So they may say, in the evening, I tend to go running whenever I have free time. And, if you're able to introduce new language to the students rather than the same old format, or they say things which just doesn't feel right, then it's your obligation as a teacher to correct it, and it's more immediate for the students and they can learn things much quicker. I've come across this when I'm learning Korean and I'm like, I kind of understand, and it sticks with me. For example, I was in a corner shop and one of the staff members very kindly gave me some snack, and she said, it's good, lots of people like it. But she said it in a way where I didn't completely understand, and I came back home and had this word in my mind, and I wrote it down from what I heard it, and my wife corrected it and said, it means popular, inki. And I was like, okay, and it stuck with me. And so whenever I hear that, it makes it a lot easier. Anyway, I've got to go because I've got a lesson, and if you want to see a Dogme approach to teaching English online, there's a members only video which I'll make available, and you can see how I go about interacting with the student without any preparation or plan, and just go in with the flow in a way. So if you remember, check out that video, and if you want to learn more, I'll put a link into the description and get this book. It's highly recommended. I've had it for years, and you can see the signatures that I've got here from the authors, which I met all those years ago in Brighton. But anyway, I've got to go. I've got a lesson. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, stay safe, and happy teaching. Bye bye.